First of all, I haven't sat before a drum corps, I mean a show, a horn arc, a battery, a guard in years. So just sitting up there right now, I'm trying to fight off stuff, and instantaneously, as all of you already know, if you're brand new, you already know this. You smell diesel fumes and hear 8 on the hand and some chords, and hear the rifles being tossed and caught. Wow, I mean, it's immediate goosebumps. So thank you for that. That was extraordinary already. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it's beautiful. So yeah, Pete Simpson, I marched 40,000 years ago. I found my old corps jacket the other day. Like, I haven't seen that in 30 years. And like, it's completely fallen apart. It's as old as my marching tenure. I think it has like member of the sneet line, which I think it says snare line, but it was like all torn apart. But I was thinking about this coat and how it made me feel when I put it on, and then let alone the uniform and all those things. I marched for only 4 years. Only 4 years. Now, some of you might be marching. Who is aging out? Who is also performing their only year? Oh, you're killing me. This is your inaugural season, and you're also aging out. I mean, if you're old enough, I'd buy a beer right now. There you go. All right. Remember, all right. Oh yeah, I forgot we had that 21 thing. So live entertainment stopped altogether, as we all know. When I left the Corps, I'd been drum sergeant, corps commander, vice corps commander. I instructed for a while. I was deep in. In fact, I think people can vouch for how difficult it is to leave this activity once you're done with it, because we set the standards way up here for the real world, and the real world will never satisfy those standards for what we feel in the field, what we're feeling right here. It'll never reach there. At least I can offer you that solace. You won't find it. It's all here. This is the only place where it happens. So I thought I'd pursue it anyway. I thought I'd go into performance, which I did, sort of like, a little apprehensively, and majored in English, sort of kind of did theater. Then I decided, you know what, let's just go for it. I went into to get a master's degree in acting. Thing is, they take you seriously when you come in there and you say you want a master's degree in acting, and they kick your ass all over the place. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta act, jeez. And I decided that was going to be something for me. And still, what did I do with my summers? While the rest of my grad school classmates are off doing theater and important networking, I came back to the troopers to construct. That's where my art was. So, and I never got enough grief from my faculty over that. I lucked out, and the first thing I got out of grad school was this little show called the Blue Man Group, because it was small at the time. I was performer number 9 out of well over 100 at this point. Well, fast forward, I've already done over 5,000 shows in 4 countries. I have performed with or for some of the. If you told me 25 years ago that I'd be performing with or for David Bowie, Alicia Keys, Taylor Swift, Lawrence Fishburne, Robert De Niro, the list goes on, and I still can't believe it. I remember the first show I had, it was Joni Mitchell giving me a bunch of paper in the middle of this crazy thing. So it's been a heck of a ride, and all this while I'm sort of like. I used to show up to Blue Man rehearsals with my practice pad and with my sticks, and I was playing traditional. Sort of like, turn that back over, dude. You're not going to be playing like that. And because we're always on this sort of quest to find what this high is and replicate it out in life, it's very, very difficult to do. Something about that coat. I put on that coat and that feeling that I had, and it reminded me of how when I teach Blue Man, because I teach them as well. When you see Blue Man Group, there's 3 guys who invented this, who founded it years ago. They haven't done the show since 1995. They're long done. But there's this sense of like every time you see it, you're not seeing some imitation. So if I go to Disneyland and I see somebody dressed in a Mickey Mouse outfit, I know that's not the real Mickey Mouse. We all know that, right? We know that like even the most recently animated version of Mickey Mouse probably isn't as real as the very first one that came out in the 1920s. So there's always something about what's real, right? When you put on this stuff, like if you think of like big, huge rock bands that replace a front person, and the front person comes out there, and the whole crowd is like, they're not really the real thing because they replaced the other lead singer. What I realized about Blue Man is that they did something kind of interesting, and something you guys don't have to worry about, which is that the original 3 decided we don't want to be known. We want to stay anonymous. We want, the focal point, the apex, the top of this whole philosophical journey to be that character. So that lives above us, and we are beholden to try and keep the mystique of this thing, the power of this thing. No one's above it. We're all underneath it. What you've got built into this opportunity is you have this uniform. There is no original troopers from 1957 that you have to imitate. You don't act like you're a super being in a super outfit. You are super beings the moment you get into this to this trance, to this ritual that we do, that is drum corps, and particularly with this corps. because the uniform holds so much, no matter what aspect of the uniform you're wearing, has this mystique to it. And it's something not to be forgotten. One thing I thought about is, as I'm watching, like, we have this, it's a cross-disciplinary activity. I'm seeing laptops now. I mean, like, this stuff is, like, it's wild. It's, for the members, it's cross-ethnicity, it's cross-gender, cross-orientation, cross-geography, cross-political leanings. And Lord knows we're in the middle of some crazy divisiveness in this country right now. And I think about what that uniform means, and a lot of people will say, it's America's Corps, so the flag, or the American flag, flies high above, and somehow that uniform really fits underneath it, almost more than any other. But yet, there's another idea, right? We have the troopers being the idea we're sort of like, we're beholden to, we're trying to feed the mystique to, and none of us are above it. Well, there's that American flag too. And I feel like right now, this is just my opinion, we could all learn from remember how humble we are before that, because every polarizing thing you've ever seen, whatever aspect of the news you watch, this is all a very imperfect manifestation of what that thing is. It is sloppy, it is sometimes inhumane, it is often cruel, it is sometimes filled with idealism, but the plans have cracks in it. So let's make no mistake, that's there, we're down here. All right, so in bringing, I feel like when you see this uniform, one of the aspects of this is that this is unity. Right? I mean, like, if we come from all these different backgrounds, I'm trying to think of any sport, any art form that brings together so much disparate energy, right? I just talked about the individuals and how much that brings together. Even cross skill set. There's some who just started this. You're probably horrified. Maybe you got in by a tooth skin and you had the luckiest audition in the world, and you're sort of just happy to be here. But the thing is, you're around vets, around others who also have been somewhat in that position before, all right? So you're entering into a mentorship, right, along with the staff, who help bring you up. Because when we create an average, we're trying to create an average by bringing the inexperience and the newness up and not everything else down. It's always up. Drum corps is about up, building up, up, up. So this is something that's about this idea of teamwork. We pay to be here, right? This is not like, I can't replicate it with Blue Man. I've certainly tried to have that sort of high. There's a purity here that you can't just reproduce. I was thinking about the music you guys are playing, right? I mean, here's another bit of crazy cross-pollination that blows my mind. That we can have this near, like, combat intensity, like, full contact physicalization on a field with ballet, and you might be doing Mozart, and it all comes together in one place. There's no art form like this. I've been around a lot, been to 21 countries performing this stuff, looking at other sort of wacky things. This has a power to it that is inimitable and it can only be the thing that it is. And I'm just telling you that from somebody who's been out for a quarter century doing this. So really, really cherish this, because this is kind of where it's at. And for those of you who are aging out, and for those of you who might be moving on, when I left, I had to leave Blue Man as everything closed down. I didn't know if I was going to perform again. Right, so I had an opportunity to do a play out in Idaho. It was, the conditions were that it could not be reviewed. Right, it was going to be a very short run. I ended up doing my best work ever there, and I thought, like, well, the universe didn't hear that, because in the middle, we actually literally did it in the middle of an Idaho field, in this boxcar. And I was sort of like, well, that doesn't seem fair. But then what I realized is sort of like, all this stuff is borrowed. I don't know how spiritual, religious any of you are. I go off and on, but we're borrowing something from the universe, and we get it. We get to be its steward for a little bit and guard it, and then give it back. So if you only have this moment, only the summer, that guardianship is the highest honor that can be bestowed on you. I can tell you now. No one was going to find out what I did just this summer, and I might go back to New York and never do the same level of work again. But it doesn't matter. The universe saw it, and the universe sees this too. Where I want this to go, because I've got a good yeah. The music, I mean, like, I was thinking of, like, Pink Floyd and Bob Dylan, they probably never even were in the same room together, and and Peter Graham's the composer, right? All right. So I'm thinking, like, when I listen to Dark Side of the Moon, gosh, if you've ever really read the lyrics, it's like, it's so depressing in many ways. Like, what am I done with my life? It's like, it's this, but then it's sort of like, you can cherry pick that if you want, but also there's, like, lyrics like breathe in the air, don't be afraid to care, right? There's lyrics like long you live, high you fly, right? And there's all sorts of beautiful things. And I think about something that Peter said. I didn't know that composer. I thought I'd look up something, and he was talking about how, like, this piece, this triumph of, what is it called? Is based on a piece he written 25 years earlier. called The Experience of Time or The Expression of Time or something like that. And he had to go back and listen to it. It's like listening to an older version of himself. And he said, like, I couldn't believe the joy and the optimism in that music. Sometimes I think that's what the trooper uniform represents for a lot of people out here. You forgot how, with the division that we have sometimes these days, there's something pure out there that this reminds us of, and that to hook into that. He also went on to say something about that this composition, he wanted to take disparate elements and try and put them together. And that's what you're also doing. This is an exercise in getting to know each other's stories, that all our narratives are very unique, and it's best to let them try to live together. Make that effort to, understand, and that's what true unity is to me. So, you're going to go about this mission this summer. And will it be for the entire nation? No, it'll be for this smaller tour. Will you change people's lives up there? Some, absolutely. Will you project something that is an ideal that we can all sort of aspire to? Absolutely. Absolutely. For everybody. So in terms of like this unifying thing, well, the troopers already do it great, and you will for the rest of the summer. Those are my couple of words of wisdom. Thank you so much for that little taste of what is clearly a bunch of life force on this field. Be proud of yourselves, and it's a higher calling, truly, and you belong to a long blue line. Just try not to, be 70 years old and still paste your picture of you being a trooper at 20, because it's really hard to kick this thing. and I now have to determine whether I want to hang up my Corps jacket again or take it with me to New York. But anyway, yeah, I'll take it. All right. I got to make sure it doesn't say snitlet anymore. I got to put snare line back on there. But anyway, thanks for your time. I don't want to take any more. You guys are tired. So thank you so much.